Farcaster. Welcome. I'm here with Adrian. It is Friday, October 20th. I have to actually look at my calendar because I'm not sure what the day is anymore. And we are excited to be here with you talking about all things Farcaster. GM, what you wearing there, Adrian?
GM. All right. Can you see what
I
gorgeous swag
recognize that
I'm
shirt. I
wearing?
have one of those shirts.
It's purple.
It's
There's an
purple.
L. It's the Launchcaster swag. And
Amazing. And they are
and it's 1 year old.
1 year old today or yesterday, 2 days ago. It's been fun watching launch grow and evolve to celebrate the milestone. Here's a thread featuring the first launches and a mint highlighting the #1 launch of the week for the first 52 weeks. So very cool. And so this is one of those things that like I kind of know what it is, but I kind of don't know what it is. So
So
if
yeah, so congratulations and I think Jamie built it and run it. Congratulations, Jamie. What I think is funny is when I joined Farcaster, which was just about, I'm coming on my 1 year anniversary.
wow,
I remember
cool.
seeing Launchcaster a lot, so he had just built it. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's one of those things. I mean, we see this a lot in Farcaster where you see the name of an app, the name of something new, just kind of like all over your feed.
Yep.
Definitely feels like everybody, it definitely feels like it's been around forever and everyone knows what they're talking about, and you're the only one who doesn't, and you're trying to figure things out. So Launchcaster, and anyone in the stream or who's watching this later can correct us. I think it's a way to tag and celebrate and track just all of the many things, right? Not just
At
apps,
launch.
but shows, content, like NFT collections, definitely apps that are being built in the Farcaster ecosystem on the
So
Farcaster.
we forgot we should have done that. We didn't tag launch when we launched, but also because we were kind of soft launching and we didn't want anybody to know. So that
I
might
thought
have
you
been
did leave
why.
it. So here's the question: are we ready to launch? Is
Are we ready
GM
to officially
is
launch?
the poll for the day? Is GM Farcaster
Are we ready?
your official 21 minutes of Farcaster news ready
And
to
are we
launch?
going to officially launch? I think maybe that's it. Maybe Monday is our official launch that we've been doing something for over a month now. But sure.
Um, I think I'm ready. I also just want
You're
to
ready.
say to all the founders out there, when you're doing your swag, I know you go to conferences. I know there's one woman for every 10 men, but women like
I like
women
swag.
swag.
I
So
like swag.
this has been a pajama shirt, Jamie. I haven't been able to advertise Launchcaster, but I make an exception for
But now you're on
today.
here. So now you can
I
wear your,
am
because this show, you can wear your pajamas.
this is
It's a morning
going on
show.
chain.
Wear those pajamas.
I'm going to be on chain forever wearing pajamas, but
Pajamas. Fantastic.
congratulations, Launchcaster.
Congratulations, Launchcaster. And congratulations. I love that we now have this founders channel too that people can kind of connect and share these things too there and, compare notes and all of that. So congratulations to all the founders who've been founding things on Farcaster and have launched them on Launchcaster. So we love seeing that. It's very exciting. And GM in the chat, we see you there, Monkey D Links, and looks like Ivy's with us this morning, and Debbie Benz. So we love having you in our chat. Um, Speaking up, so one of the things we were talking about is sometimes you see something on Farcaster and you've seen it a million times, and you're a little nervous about then asking, what the heck is that? So you just made a great comment, and I wanted everyone else to hear that.
So, I mean, this has definitely been an experience for me where it's like, okay, wait, what is that app that I've seen everybody talk about? Or because things move really fast. And we were talking before the show about how sometimes like you don't want to ask because it feels like everybody knows and you don't want
Yeah.
to look stupid. And I just said, look, if Farcaster can't be the place
Yes.
where you can say, what the heck is this? I
WTF.
missed this. There's no hope for us in the long
Right.
term, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So we're gonna
so
make it a more comfortable place. If you see something on Farcaster and you're like, I don't know what that is, just ask, and someone will very nicely answer.
Very
Like,
nicely. And the joke is half the things that I think it's too late for me to even ask are
yeah,
still on test flight.
yeah, yeah. But
They're
we always
still in
feel like
closed
I
beta.
should know
Yeah,
what
it's
that is by now. It's like I should know, and it's like it's still pre-alpha. It's like so yeah, we should definitely have to make it more of a cultural thing that there are no dumb questions. Ask away, and somebody will very nicely tell you what it is. And be happy to have an opportunity to share about their business too, that they're building and that they're, spending probably 50 hours, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week on. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And I will say it's like the if if you're a founder, if you're a builder, it doesn't mean you're a good marketer or communicator. So I tend to think, oh, people are trying to specifically make this seem,
Right.
harder to reach. No,
No,
they're just not aware that there's people out there who don't know. So
exactly.
I did a lot of stuff back in a former lifetime with just kind of I don't know marketing but communication and the need to like constantly be telling people again and
Yeah.
again and again
Minimum
what is
7 before somebody takes an action. They
yeah
have to see it in front of them a minimum of 7 times, and that can be in all different places, in all their media and all their feeds and all their things, but they're not generally gonna take an action until they've seen it at least that many times, which means you gotta talk about it a lot.
yeah.
That's what it takes.
So I
So,
apologize to those who follow me because I will cast about GM Farcaster
a lot. We're
more
gonna
than you
we're
need
gonna
to
do that a
think.
lot. Yeah.
Um,
We're gonna be doing that a lot. So, Jamie, congratulations. That's amazing. I want to do another shout out to someone who's coming up on their 1 year anniversary, and that's Purple. Purple Dow is heading into 1 year next week. So, with that in mind, they have a proposal up now to change the art. So, season 2 art is going to be a little different by Oxen, and it's up on the screen right now. You can't see it, sorry. But it's really beautiful. I am really looking forward to I just put my vote in for yes, and I'm really looking forward to I love the purple square. It works. It's a meme, but it's time for a little change up, and I'm looking forward to doing some bidding later on. So all these 1 year things coming up, kind of exciting.
so does that mean you did not delegate your vote?
I have not
Your
delegated it
purple?
yet.
Okay.
I am going to do that. My plan was to do it, but also to do it and stream it. Stream how to delegate and record it. And then I was sick all last week and I was like, I don't feel like doing that. So I am going to
Right.
do that probably over this weekend and share that soon. So, and move then
So,
delegate over.
and I'm a big fan of the art. The purple square was great, and
Yeah.
also when but especially when people are using it as their PFP or this, like to
Right.
have something that's slightly different. Oxen's art's incredible. I'm thinking about starting a DAO myself to support purple.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting.
I'm being
Please don't do
completely
that.
sarcastic. I'm saying, I said, I love what Purple is doing. I haven't joined myself because, as we've talked about in the past, I don't have the mental bandwidth to figure out DAOs. I just haven't gotten into it myself and the responsibility of voting. So I said, oh, maybe I'll just start a lightweight DAO where funds will go into Purple. How do I how do I
We can
support
do
Purple
that.
in a
We can
lightweight
do
way?
that, or we can just, join Purple, or Purpler. I mean, there's also a whole other one out there, which we won't even get into that controversy. I stayed away from that. But the other thing is Purple on occasion will do things like draw posals, and that's another way you can support them. So there's always different ways that you can support if you appreciate what Purple's doing but don't want to jump into the DAO scene, there's always different ways to support, which is awesome. But I am going to definitely be delegating very soon. Um, Looking at our chat, there are no dumb questions, just dumb founders. And speaking of, here we go. We might as well jump into it. I didn't make this transition. Ivy did in the chat. She said, speaking of, I assume Brian's Solidity tweet cast actually is on the agenda. And yes, it was. So, Brian yesterday, I'm sorry, but if you're paying 200K for a smart contract engineer, you're not going to make it. Any solid dev should be able to write Solidity with the help of Chat GPT. No, the smart contract needs to be perfect and be audited, bro. Hit 100K in daily volume and then worry about it being perfect. A lot of people have a lot of feelings about that one. So, Adrian, what are your feelings on that one? Let's start with you, and then we'll jump into some of the others.
So can we give some color for all the newbies that might be joining
Yeah,
in?
that's a good
Who's
idea.
Brian? Who's
Is
Brian?
Brian? I'm going to let you give a little background on Brian.
Um, Brian is the founder of Unlonely. So thank you,
Here we are.
Lord, for giving us a streaming platform.
Yes, we appreciate decentralized media very much.
Um,
Along with Grace. Grace is his co-founder,
and
his
Grace,
sister,
yes.
and she's amazing. So, got to give Grace some shout outs there.
Um, and he's got a unique personality.
It's very unique.
So follow
Sweet.
him and you will
He's a
learn.
lot of fun.
So
He's a
yes.
lot of fun, but he's young, and that plays a role. Plays a role. It's funny because I teach college students, right? So I teach people in their 20s mostly, and so I see certain things over and over and over again, and it's interesting. Like there's just certain things get said that probably shouldn't be said. But thanks for the honesty, Brian.
But he struck a nerve. And listen,
Yeah,
what I think was funny is if you actually look at what he's saying,
yeah,
he's not saying don't audit your contracts. He's not saying don't spend time in your quality controls, don't spend time in testing. He started at 200,000. He's tagging it, right? He's anchoring it. So it's very specific to his value system and a dollar amount that he's putting on. And of course, people are not going to see that nuance, and it's going to go right into, oh, you're
uh-huh,
saying that it doesn't matter.
right.
And listen, the stakes. I have a software development background,
This is like
and
kind of you do a lot of consulting and things like that. So this is probably something you've had conversations like this about where to spend money, I am certain.
so yes, and
Yeah.
I've spent 20 years doing software development, and in the past probably 5, 7 years, I've been like laser focused on helping companies make it easier to change their software. So in the world, right, this is of
Hard.
not
Yeah.
smart contracts, not Web3, but the companies that, and this is the DevOps movement, I cast about it if you heard a lot, but it's the companies that make it easy and safe to make changes to your software are the ones who will outperform.
Yep.
The kicker is you don't want your smart contracts to change because by definition, right, you don't want them to, you want them, they
Immutable. There's
need
this
to
whole thing
be
in Web3 called immutable.
immutable as a feature
Yeah.
and a bug. So when you have
Yeah.
something that is
Exactly.
immutable,
Exactly.
it's if someone finds an exploit, it's not, oh, let's put a patch out. It's you're drained, you're bankrupt.
You're done. Yeah.
Your
So,
customers, your reputation, your I mean, the stakes are too high.
yeah,
So it's almost an infinity amount of value to get
get
to
it
a
right.
point where your contract is solid.
100% agree. And I think that, I think there was some nuance there. I agree. I think, if you can read that in a couple of ways, right? You can read it straightly as doesn't see any value in auditing. I don't think that's what it was. It says doesn't see it being a value at 200K. Which I think there's, a discussion to be had there. Like, I think that's not an unvalid thing to say because there's other options. So that was my thought too, was immediately was like, well, you could go with Code for Arena. That's going to be a little cheaper. That's a really great option for doing auditing. If you're starting with something that is audited, from Open Zeppelin or something like that, you're starting with a base that's audited and then you're adapting it, it's a little bit less of a risk, but depending on what you do. But ChatGPT alone is not a good idea. That part, I'm gonna say, not a good idea. Brian, you definitely want to like go beyond ChatGPT. Oh, and I think Adrian froze, so I have a frozen Adrian now, but I'll just continue to talk to her and hopefully she'll come back. And then I'll just jump in the chat because Adrian is frozen for me. Hopefully she comes back. So I want to just read a few of the comments in the chat. We've got Ivy object level stuff has already been discussed. Yeah, but the meta level. It's basically, yep, character of crypto, a little bit. If we're talking about Brian, he has already won. That's a great point. It's all people don't care. Oh yeah, people who get scanned. Um, Yeah, there's a lot of people actively avoiding building crypto logins because they're worried about things like hacks and all of that. So we definitely want to move forward on that and make sure we're working safely. Brian is doing a live stream, be dropped on our Telegram chat. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Okay, awesome. So he's going to address this. Fantastic. I love this. Later, in a debate with the founder of an audit startup. Is it code for Arena? Great, Grace, I'm curious now. That's awesome. I love that. Um, and if not, I would suggest maybe seeing if the founder of Code for Arena could jump on as well, because that might give another perspective on that, because theirs is a little different. Gaslight. Okay, so the founder of gaslight.gg will be debating Brian about auditing. Fascinating. I am definitely gonna be watching for that because that'll be a lot of fun. By the way, you froze. I
And
don't know if you know, but you froze for a little bit.
my internet connection went out, so I
I'm
apologize.
just glad you got back then. That's surprising. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I apologize.
Glad
I
you're
am
back.
back. Happy
Don't
Friday.
apologize.
It happens on
Um,
Fridays.
oh, can you
Um,
drop their handle? I have to go look, but I know I've seen them on Farcaster. I can't remember her name, but I know she's on Farcaster. The if anyone knows the CEO of Code for Arena, I think I even saw her post in Farcast her maybe, or something got reshared or something. So I'll have to find her. But yes, Grace, I'll try and see what we can do there and get you connected because I think that would be another great person to have on there. And if you're not familiar with Code for Arena, essentially you put up um, bounties, to say find the bugs in there, and then there those who contribute to it. So it's more of like a collective way of doing this, a little bit more decentralized. And those who contribute to it are, paid through that, who do the auditing and grab the bugs and things like that. Now, this is I'm giving you an incredibly barely I know what this is kind of explanation. So let's get the actual person on who knows because they'll be able to actually explain it. But I will tell you that Nouns is used code for Arena for I think a couple of the protocol upgrades, and Builder DAO is getting ready to as well to use it for our Bally protocol upgrade. So then there might be a big difference also in cost depending on what type of contract we're doing. When you're talking about a protocol upgrade, that's a little bit more heavy duty. Whereas if you're just looking at a smart contract, it might be something much less. So I would definitely think that it's a good conversation to have, though. So like I said, I think you started off perfectly by saying there's some nuance here, right? It's really easy to be like, well, that was dumb, but also there's
and
like, well, is it though? I mean, because that does seem a little pricey.
so here's
So,
it.
you know,
Well, here's also the nuance, and then I'll get flamed for being the Brian apologizer. And the but if you like, if you're,
Brian
what's your token?
apologizer.
What's your token?
Well, our token's not up yet, so
Okay, like
I'm scared.
if you've got an arcade token and you're building something out, like
Yeah,
even that, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of reputation risk, right? So
right.
it's kind of like, again, at a certain time and place, but
Yeah,
Web3, just like in anything, is built on trust,
yeah.
um, and founders do matter.
So
So
that's what I say this all the time, and I really need to write this as well. That trust is the currency of Web3. Period. Full stop. It's not coins. It's trust because you choose when you connect that wallet. That's a trust. That's a sign of trust. I trust this platform. I trust this thing. If I, grab your arcade token, it's because I trust the contract that's backing that, or else I'm not going to interact with it. So 100% like that has to be taken into account for sure. So right now we don't have an arcade token and now I'm a little nervous. So well we're gonna give it a minute. We're gonna watch the debate. We'll get back to you. And by the way, we got a very active chat this morning. So this is fantastic because we've got Grace in here and yeah, Cope Arena, they are very I think it's a great option. And Brian and I have different approaches. I would say that is very true. And I think, you know what, to that point, when I talk to students about founding businesses, that's a feature, not a bug, that you have different approaches. As long as you can find ways to reach consensus as founders And I would think that, when you're talking about family, sometimes that's easier, sometimes it's harder, depending on the family dynamics. But sometimes it's easier because you understand that person a little better. Um, but also like having those different skill sets, having those different approaches are helpful because it's gonna balance you out a lot. And there you might have one founder who's more riskier than the other, but you might need that at times because you have to take some risks. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cofarina is kind of a DAO-based take on more traditional auditing. Okay, thanks, Ivy, for adding some info there. Pooled together, just use Cofarina. Um, do, do, do. Um, just looking through to see anything else that I want to mention before chain security is
Oh.
another one. In a trustless world, trust is priceless. There you go. We're going to have all kinds of things for this. Um, and yes, it's not that much of your contracts are long term. I would agree with that. It really depends on if you're talking, that's why when you're talking protocol level, those things have to be solid, solid, solid because you're building on top of that. So you can't go backwards. And Shoni and Ivy, thanks for waking up so early with us. So that was you. Okay. I was okay, awesome. I think I hit all the comments mostly. I love having an active chat. It's so fun. And Grace, one of the problems I'm having is my chat won't pull out of the pop out thing. So I'll talk to you about that offline. So I can't put it up on the screen. It's really weird. I can pull other chats out. I don't know why I can't pull our own. So anyway, have a little problem there. We'll work it out. Work it out in post. But anyway, I love having everybody in our chat. It's been really fun this morning. I think we had a great talk. There's a ton of stuff we didn't get to. I'm going to drop them in the um, links and in the show notes, but really quick, if you're applying for A16Z CSS, definitely ping Dan because you'll get a little leg up there. And Dan was also asking about a new feed. If you had casts from people you follow and no replies, would that be something that you would want? So give your feedback there as well as on the NFT legacy feed, which again, that's one of those probably some people don't even know what that is. Um, but that's okay. You can ask because we told you that at the beginning. But we are way over by a whole minute. So we're going to call it there. So GM Farcaster, Adrian, any last notes before we sign off?
We'll just say when Ivy said come to come to Amsterdam,
Oh yeah.
not in the cards for me this year unless we get maybe a generous sponsor who wants to send GM Farcaster for to be the official morning show of the
Be
network
the
stage.
official.
But
Otherwise, we'll be watching it
count us in for the
virtually.
second one. Yeah. Otherwise,
I
we'll
am
see you at number 2.
Yeah, we'll see it number two, but I am registered for the virtual session and I'm looking forward to it and breaking it down here and pulling out some of the highlights from that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right,
But
everybody.
Happy Friday. Have a great
Happy
weekend, everyone.
Friday. Have a great weekend and we will see you Monday. GM.